As soon as now we are.
Okay, Ben, good morning. Thanks for jumping in, buddy. Hope the Bahamas is good. Bahama Ben.
Bahama Ben. How fun.
That sounds like a drink. Give me a Bahama Ben.
A Bahama Ben.
A Bahama Ben would be a Budweiser.
Would it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Show before the show. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the show.
He's not going to be getting this cold weather that the Midwest is getting then.
I don't know what they have in the Bahamas.
Yeah, I don't know what the temperature is right now there.
I guarantee it's not sleet and snow.
Yeah, sure it's not. It's Friday. Joe, you got any hot plans?
Just hanging out with the girlfriend.
You have a girlfriend?
You know who she is.
Why you act shocked and surprised?
Yeah,
You've met her on a couple of different occasions.
Wait, honest to God, and I'm not trying. Is anybody listening? Is it just us?
No, there's people listening.
Right. Are we having a private conversation right now?
Yeah, this is completely.
Nobody else is here, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I bet everybody
I'll
cares,
explain
though.
myself off air, and it's legitimate when I ask. It's all good. I'm so busy, I don't pay attention to things like that.
I mean, it's all right.
But you do have a girlfriend.
Yes.
You've met her once or twice.
Just one.
Yes, just one.
Okay.
I usually keep one at a time.
One at a time.
One on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Mm-hmm. Once a day.
That's
once a
not
day,
even right.
Joe.
Danielle, he's lying.
Wait a minute. Who's Danielle?
Danielle listens on the show, too. She comments. You've met her.
Yeah, she's in the comments most days. Some days
Wait a
she's
minute.
in surgery.
But I've met so many.
You mean all of his girlfriends?
God, dude.
All of his
You've
hot
met
girlfriends?
You've met two.
It's not the first one. It's the second one.
What about the third one?
Well, the third
Where's
one.
the third one?
Well, Danielle,
I'm going to be quiet
not
right now.
A third one. Don't worry, Danielle. I've not seen a third one.
I don't want to get my man.
Don't get your
Joe
man in trouble.
You got me racking my brain because I'm trying to think of how I don't think I've dated
The list is long and distinguished.
Long and distinguished. Joey. Can I call you Joey G?
That's what they called me. Well, not Joey G, but they called me Joey when I was a kid. So
Joey G and all of his lady friends.
I'm messing with you, Joe.
I know.
He knows it. He knows we're just playing with him.
It's Friday. There's so much serious stuff going on today, and I just want to have more fun, and there's too much serious going on.
Gosh, there really is. It's annoying.
This is the show before the show. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the shows as always. Let me get this here.
But yeah, we're kind of looking forward to being snowed in for a weekend.
Snowed in for the weekend. So you do
what
have
does that
hot
mean?
plans. Well, like you know, come on. Like you sit by a fire and drink coffee and maybe wine and you can't go anywhere and there's no disturbance.
That sounds miserable.
And
more like laying around in bed watching TV.
It sounds like prison.
And you've got jammies and a warm blanket and a pizza.
And you're cuddled up.
Yeah, you're thinking about all the positives in that.
There's nothing negative about it. I wouldn't want it every day.
I'm teasing again.
Vic, I have no doubt that you would be happy to be snowed in a day or two.
Yeah, I'd be good with Megan. Yeah.
Yeah. With your hot mama.
But we're not getting snowed in.
We're not. I don't even think we're getting hardly any snow.
We don't get snowed in. If anything, you might get iced in first.
Correct. Absolutely.
I'm glad we don't record the show before the show.
But people can still go back and find it on Facebook.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So other things, it gets cut off. But on Facebook, if they go to the Facebook page, They can hear the incriminating stuff we talk about.
I just got to find out who all the names are so I can keep them all straight again from you, Joe.
Yeah, you need to start taking notes.
Yeah, take some notes on his life. It's pretty interesting. Yep.
As interesting as a stomach pump.
It's a stomach pump. Vic, are you more interesting than a stomach pump?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
I am very.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I've been trying to be less interesting.
Right. Some days.
The most interesting man in the world.
Yeah. Interesting backgrounds in people's lives. Yeah, people are saying we're not even going to get any snow.
Well, it depends on where people, I mean, we're talking about from the St. Louis metro area, but there's a big storm that's coming across the country. And once again, it's because of where you live, this area.
True.
It's because of what happens, the temperature. It sits right in that borderline.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the shows. I'll go to all the platforms, give it a like. Where you're helping us out is doing that. We appreciate it, sending the show out. When you repost, that helps as well. Glenn says people are listening. I don't know what that means.
Well, because they're listening to our show before the show.
Well, yeah, that's why we do it.
Right. But yeah, okay.
I don't understand.
It's because they're listening and they can take what we're saying and use it about Joe and all of his girlfriends.
You were saying, is this a private conversation? Remember, you were kidding around.
I would just tell all the girls about the other ones. Just introduce them all, Joe. Why is that
they all know each other. We hang out.
Why is that funny, Lizzie?
Because I can see a picture of a girl not knowing about another girl, and then you invite them all at one place. That would be a reality TV show. Could you imagine? You invite all your significant others that don't know about the others all in one place? Dang.
You guys make it sound like I'm such a playboy. That's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't that be fun? I mean, really think about it. We all know somebody that has a side piece. And if you invited that side piece.
What?
Who do we know?
Wait a minute. You just said we all know somebody who has a side piece?
Y'all do. You all do. Nobody in here. Nobody here. Nobody has a side piece here. But we all know people who do.
We're getting revved up.
Yeah, it's a Friday. Side piece Friday.
Oh my God, Lizzie.
We're going to introduce everybody's side piece. So if you have one, everyone, watch out. Vic is going live.
Side piece Friday.
Side piece Friday.
We got Fixer Up Friday, side piece Friday.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be more like side piece Tuesday. Tuesday's like the worthless day. I had somebody describe that. I'm like, I don't think any day's worthless. But Monday's the start of the week. Wednesday's hump day. Thursday's Friday. Friday, of course, is there and you got the weekend, and it's like Tuesday. Tuesday's that day that's kind of just there during
It is, yeah.
So that could be side piece Tuesday. Rev it up a little bit, add a little drama to your life.
I agree. Let's do side piece. Yeah, because Tuesday, they say, is the hardest day of work, too.
The AP reporting, David Sparks wants to know who your side piece is, Lizzie.
It's Denzel. It's Denzel Washington. I think
Where's Denzel live?
I don't know, but if he
down in South County somewhere?
Yes. Yeah. He lives in Afton, Denzel. So when I go to Afton, I'm going to see Denzel. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Joe. Let's start it up, my friend.
Here we go.
You good? I'm good. Hey, guys. Oh, my God. I'll get to that in a second. Hey, it is Friday. Welcome into CancelTheShow.com. I'm Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. It is a free-for-all Friday. We've got serious stuff. We've got fun stuff. You know we do. It's a grab bag. We do it all on Fridays, and we love your help. We love your interaction as well. All the comments, the ideas, the comedy, the seriousness, you guys, you gals, everybody that brings to our table. We love you as part of the live cast Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. You can catch all of our episodes on CancelTheShow.com. Of course, you can give us your ideas for stories and everything else. Okay, we're just finishing up here. Fridays are kind of just all over the place.
So
a little less structured. Want to give a special thanks to our advertisers or sponsors, Amini's in the Chesterfield Valley, your leading supplier in traditional and infrared saunas and soft water hot tubs. Also, Experience Realty Partners, an audience favorite, Kathy Helbig-Strict, Steve Strict with Experience Realty, and Steve Strict, of course, with New American Funding powered by Score Mortgage and their side company. Speaking of side issues.
Side company, their side piece.
Their side interest. New Age Health and Wellness Center. You really think you're funny on that. Route 66 Cannabis. No, Lizzie has not taken her gummy yet. Live. 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. The newest one on Manchester at 270. They've also got the Ostara line and stores all across the state of Missouri. Strategic Air Services, of course, where we broadcast live out of Monday through Friday, the premier private transportation providers in all things aviation, from aircraft management to concierge services and acquisition. We Quip. Paige always rocks when she comes in. She was in yesterday. Paige Measley, 25-year-old future business star. Really cool website business, peer-to-peer marketplace. You can rent items. You can buy items. You can rent your own items, and you can do it all on a website. 75% of the profit that comes in, you keep. Items are insured, and of course, it's safe and secure. And of course, Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley. They will have the Chiefs on tomorrow night when they play from Arrowhead, the Miami Dolphins. Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley as well. The best pizza, burgers, wings, and smoked meats. And they've got a live music situation. They've got a live schedule on the weekends. And they've also got a massive indoor patio, or outdoor patio, excuse me, that you can jump in. I am struggling. I'm really tired today, and you guys can tell. Anyway, not tired.
Were you up partying last night?
Yeah, my life is so much of partying.
Just wondering.
Whoa, it's a long day yesterday.
Yes.
But it's all good.
Yep.
We've got a lot of topics to get into. By the way, that Chiefs game, okay, because it's going to get cold in the Midwest. Okay, cold happens. It's winter. It's supposed to be that way. But you're talking about one of the coldest games ever, if not ever, at Arrowhead. 0 degrees or wind chill when the game starts, and they're playing the Miami Dolphins. How do you even simulate that weather in practice during the week? You can't. Miami, Florida, and you're coming up to play.
Mm-hmm.
In Kansas City, and it's like 1 degree.
Yeah, a little nipply. It'd be really cold. What? I mean, it would be. Could you imagine coming from Miami?
Nipply?
Yeah, coming up from Miami, and then you go here, and it's like 0 degrees or negative 10 wind chill.
What does nipply mean?
Really, really cold.
I find it interesting. That's the word you use.
Well, it means really, really cold. My grandma used to say that.
Nipply. All right.
It means it's cold enough to where you can cut glass with your nipples.
Oh.
My grandma never said it that way. She would just say it's really cold outside. It's a little nipply, so put your coat on.
It is a free-for-all Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in house. Eric says he's going to join us again today, 2 days in a row.
Oh, that is so
We'll see
good.
when he pops in. It is interesting. Glenn says Miami's 0-10 with weather under 40 degrees. And yeah, I don't see how they can handle it. I mean, you got to be used to playing in weather, and weather does dictate success in football games. It does, especially if you're from welcome to Miami and it's warm all the time. And then you go up and you're in -0 temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I brought that up, 2 things. One, you can go watch the Chiefs game. They have it on at Winty's. Obviously, if you have a subscription to Peacock, you can watch it wherever you have that. But bars and restaurants, you have to pay a ton of money. So if you want to go watch the game, you can do it with Chiefs fans. Or if you hate the Chiefs and you want to root against them, because there are those people as well, you can watch it at Winty's. They will have the game on tomorrow night. So that's going on. The second part, Chiefs tickets, sold out all the time. You know, anybody that's tried to get Chiefs tickets, you know, sold out, expensive. Playoff games, tickets being sold for $45 now.
$45
because nobody wants to go because of the weather.
Yeah,
or not nobody, but they've got so many open seats that they can't sell because people don't go out and freeze their asses off.
That's true.
So that's happening. And of course, we have a lot of Chiefs who listen to the audience, or Chiefs fans that are in our audience. Yeah, Jeannie says, I went once to a St. Louis Cardinal football game, and it was brutal. I went to the AFC Championship game last year in Kansas City, the Chiefs and Bengals, and that was, I believe, 11 degrees at game time, 10 degrees. The wind chill was like 3, and it was miserable. And I had 3-4 layers on of all clothes, including long johns, socks, and I was still miserable.
Yeah,
it was
that's no fun.
You can't get away from the damn cold.
No, that's it.
Mary says, yeah, it ticks me off. Game not on network TV. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Welcome to technology. Welcome to streaming being so important. Welcome to Peacock paying $110 million. I repeat, $110 million to the NFL to have that game. So there you go. I think the NFL knows, because of course the NFL's rigged, right? Right?
Yeah.
They know it's going to be a blowout. It's not going to be a good game. So, hey, well, we'll just throw that one over there to Peacock. And we'll have the real team, the Detroit Lions, on against Matthew Stafford and the Rams. The real team.
The real team.
That's right. America's team. It's not the Cowboys. It's the Lions. But anyway, I digress. This is a Friday free-for-all. We have a lot to get into today. We'll have some fun, more so in the 9 o'clock hour as well. A couple updates, news headlines, things that really pissed me off that I saw. Dr. Fauci, I don't even know if I should call him a doctor. What's Tony?
Fraud sheet. Dr. Fraud sheet.
He's been testifying to Congress, and it's kind of gone quiet. Crickets. You don't see national media talking about it again.
No.
First, he admitted that masks didn't work recently when he was in Congress. Now he said that the whole 6 feet of social distancing was never based on science. None of it. He's admitting all of this now, which is why I always say, keep track of the scorecard. Remember what's going on now, because 2, 3, 4 years later, we're told truth. And then it's like, it's less of a blow 3, 4 years. Yeah, a lot of us are pissed off if you had to deal with those situations, but think back to what government tries to tell you to do right now.
Correct.
When government is trying to tell you what to do right now, and you know, because pull the heartstring. Yep. Well, we're just trying to help other people, and we need to get the cupcake so that we can help other people. We need to stand 6 feet away. And okay, once again, Americans are good generally in nature. And of course, you have some evil people who try to pull those heartstrings and get what they want from that standpoint. Now, Fauci's admitting what most of us knew at the time, what many of us spoke out about, what many of you spoke out about and dealt with or knew was wrong. And here you go, 4 years later. Now we're being told, and it's crickets all over. And this is why it's so difficult. You can't trust national media, and it's hard to trust local TV media because they rely on national media, which is why we do what we do here, to go out and do those things. Robert says Fauci should be hung as a traitor.
He actually should be, because he knew this entire time he was
ammo.
Lying, and there was no way. I mean, think about, remember the time people were going to the grocery store and then they're walking in those arrows and those lines, and some people really were good little doobies, and they were walking in their little lines and wearing their little mask. And I'm like, you know, it won't be tomorrow, but it will be 2 to 4 years later. They're going to admit the joke was on you with your little walking in these little lines.
It just makes me sick to my stomach, because we've been calling it out, and then there's remember families being divided.
Yes.
Friends being divided.
They still are.
Conversations about these things. I was in a Walgreens, and a woman had a mask on, and a guy was close to her, and I saw her, she stepped away.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm like, and it's unfair what the government did. And Fauci is the lead guy for that. And then Time Magazine Person of the Year. And he also admitted about he knew about what was going on in Wuhan.
He knew.
So these are the reasons we bring these things up. Jay says, I lost friends over the mask. And that's sad.
That is really sad. Well, I remember my little girl who's 15 now, was like 10 and 11 when this was going on. And people would just jump back at her because she wasn't wearing a mask. I didn't have her wear a mask. And she's like, Mommy, why is that grandma lady looking at me like this? Like I'm going to kill her. Because that was at the beginning. She didn't even understand what was going on. And these people would look at children like they were the viper, the ugly demon child.
I remember this too. And we appreciate your comments. Cancelthisshow.com. Of course, you can jump in from any of the platforms. Are we broadcasting on Instagram too now? I wanted to remind everybody. I know you said you were starting that.
There's I don't know. There's a bit of a aspect ratio issue with Instagram that we have to figure out.
An aspect ratio. That sounds
Yeah, and
quite
it
big.
says it's unable to connect right now, so I'm not sure what's going on with Instagram yet.
Okay, so you can get to us on most of the sites, cancelthisshow.com. You can join the conversation if you want to. We appreciate the audience that we do have. It's amazing Monday through Friday what you guys do. We try to get to as many comments as we possibly can. I mean, I'm seeing everything from he should be injected, lethally injected with the bioweapons he created. That's my favorite.
I love that one too.
I don't ever want to see anybody get hurt, especially what this guy did.
Right.
But when you commit crimes, there are punishments that go along with those crimes.
I'm sorry. I think they need to bring back public hangings in front of the town square.
He should definitely, whatever he was wanting people to be shot in the arm with, he should have that as well.
Jeannie says, I got called a bitch from a trans for not wearing a mask. Yeah, I mean, these are the kind of things that happen. Somebody else says, I got in trouble for not following the lines correctly. Glenn says there were mask holes. These are the kind of things. This is the kind of vitriol that started, that the government created, forced on us all.
Yes.
And now we're starting to hear more about it. The truth starts to come out. And that's why there is no problem with you speaking truth in a polite manner to people if these topics come up.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see what happened? Oh, Fauci admitted mask didn't work. Fauci admitted that the 6 feet was not based on science. It was just an opinion.
Yeah.
And you had people spaced out. It was the dumbest thing. Our managers at Fox 2 were the most idiotic, stupid people. They had to create new newsrooms. Well, you can't be over there. One person on that side of the, I'm like, oh my God, do you realize how stupid you sound?
Yeah. I mean, it was insane.
We had to have, they put people in different houses to anchor. You had one person in the studio. I mean,
yes.
Well, Vic, they were just learning, you know, we all knew. We were talking about it from the get-go. 3 months in, the doctors who were talking about that were canceled. They were quieted. And now we've seen the lawsuits that have started and proved what was going on. Thank God to Eric Schmidt for starting it. Thank God to Andrew Bailey, 2 attorney generals from the state of Missouri following through and beating the Biden administration. And you guys know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Robert says 6 feet was based on the grave depth. Oh my God.
Well, and they won't admit to that, but think about it. Why did they pick that number? Why wasn't it 8 or 5 or 9? They picked 6, like 6 feet under.
Then he says, remember, he got a $5 million book advance.
Yeah, he did.
As well on all of these things. Yeah, he was bought and paid for.
For sure.
And then Paul says, this is the sad part. Millions of people died worldwide because of his propaganda, which is why people are stating he should suffer consequences. He should be brought up on charges. He should be indicted, not treated like a hero. But this is the other problem that we deal with. People's pride.
Yeah.
I always say it's the worst thing in society is pride.
Correct.
People can't get over their effing pride and admit that they're wrong. When you're wrong, admit it, apologize, whatever, move on. But people can't. And I'm sorry, and you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you're one of these people. I don't know. But it comes to politics, you see it even worse. When it comes to religion, you see it even worse.
Yep.
People's pride, they refuse to see truth and they refuse to admit they're wrong and just move on. Who cares? It doesn't mean you're less of a person. Apologize.
Well, and admit, say, I was really scared. These people
Masks did not work.
Correct.
They did not work. The cupcake did not work overall. People are being hurt because of what they did. And then there are poor souls out there that think that putting some sort of covering on their face is going to protect them, and it's wrong. And I don't care if they do it, but it's wrong. And this whole Fauci thing coming back up, admitting, which I'm glad it's admitted, is a massive, massive issue. But it rekindles that fire a little bit, at least for me. Maybe it doesn't for you.
I think a lot of people on our chat line are still pissed off about it because they've lost friends. I know people that lost jobs. My husband was the very first person that I heard that got laid off during that period of time. Children were treated They were treated criminally. You take cute little kids, sit them in the chair and put a mask on them, and then you tell them not to talk. The whole thing was just
Well,
awful.
Troy says they had to come up with a way to destroy Trump's economy.
100%. That's what it was all about.
And this was one of the best ways to do it. And it was sitting around forever, as we had talked about already. This is cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. Just wanted to get a couple of those things out. Did you guys ever eat fruit stripe gum?
Yes, it was my favorite. Now I'd have to eat
They're discontinuing it.
Yeah.
That might be a good thing.
Yeah, good.
I loved fruit
Who the
stripe gum.
hell
like
knows
the
what was in that? It was probably made with all poison, Lizzie.
It probably was. And you would have to eat at least 3 pieces to get the flavor because it was almost flavorless after the first little chew.
Just keep stuffing it in,
Yeah, your kids' mouths would be this wide with all the gum in their mouth.
As bad as that was one thing that just came down. Wanted to let everybody know that. We talk about being frustrated with certain things that are going on in life. We've got to play this video for you because this is what's happening. Just think, once again, when it comes to government and everything that happens when it comes to TSA, when it comes to airlines, when it comes to all the steps, all the hoops we jump through, the hurdles we jump over to get on an airplane. And I don't mind doing one of those things as long as everybody's doing it. If it's truly going to protect us and we don't have a 9/11 situation happen again, okay, fine. You guys have made fun of me because I said I would wear a chip and I don't care if cameras are on me all the time. I don't care because I know I'm not going to do anything wrong. I'm not going out looking to hurt people.
But people could set you up.
And if it meant that there'd be no crime in life, that nobody get hurt, if we had video, I'm all for it. So and the only reason I say that is I don't care. I'm not one of these people, you spying on me and the government. I don't care. I'd give up my privacy if it meant one child would not be hurt. One child would not be abducted. So I'm all for opening up video, whatever. But when we do something and then the government says, oh, no, there's a different group of people that we're going to treat differently, there's a problem.
Yep.
And it starts with the illegal aliens once again. Watch this video of what's happening with illegal aliens and getting onto planes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today, we're here to talk about the drain of illegal immigration and Biden's open border policies and how they're affecting the American taxpayer. Recently, airline safety has also become an issue of paramount concern. People are concerned, or rather not, doors are going to fly off planes and panels, but I'm here to tell you about the issue that starts with safety long before anybody in this room will actually board a plane. Biden's open border policies are overburdening the TSA and making it more difficult for the TSA agents to do their jobs effectively. The TSA was created after 9/11 to oversee security in all modes of transportation, including aviation safety. As an American, you know we have to go through security screening and board a plane just like everybody else. And what you also may know is that the TSA has an entirely different standard for illegal immigrants. That's right. There's a different set of rules for you, the American public, and illegal immigrants. You've all seen the TSA check line, of course. Well, I have news for you. Biden's DHS has created another line, and here is the picture to prove it. This is a line in the Tucson airport, specially made for non-citizens. And as you can see, the sign says, non-U.S. citizens without passports enter here. And without passports, that, just tip of the iceberg, these illegal immigrants may go unvetted with no verifiable photo ID at all. And I guess Biden and Mayorkas want us all to trust that these people are going to say who they are based on just their honesty and their word alone. You know what a valid form of ID is for an illegal alien according to TSA today? An arrest warrant. I'm not making that up. You could get on a plane with an arrest warrant. And if an arrest warrant can get an illegal alien on a domestic flight, then why can't it get them a one-way ticket to jail where they belong? This is not only an assault on an American citizen, but a grave threat to our national security. I'm a member of Congress. I have TSA pre-check and clear. And when I get screened by TSA, I have to prove that I am who I say I am with an official government ID. For the record, my name is Wesley P. Hunt, as in Parish Hunt. But if my airline ticket says Wesley J. Hunt, this United States congressman ain't getting on the plane. The TSA is tasked with airline security, but they're letting illegal immigrants on our planes with unverifiable identities. We also know that in the last 2 years, over 200 people on the terrorist watch list have been caught at the border that we know of. And for the record, I'm a post 9/11 veteran. I deployed to Iraq. I'm a West Point grad. I fought for this country to keep those people out of our country, to keep it safer. And now we are failing the American public. I'm a Texan, born and raised in Houston, Texas. And Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, has taken steps to stop the flow of illegal immigration. And by the way, that's not his job. That's the federal government's job. Governor Abbott put buoys in a Rio Grande, set up fences and barbed wire, just to name a few protocols. And how did Biden reward Governor Abbott for his efforts? He sued the state of Texas. The federal government sued the state for doing the job the federal government should be doing by keeping you safe. This illegal invasion is the destruction of federal immigration law and the elimination of any sort of protocol on our southern border that is not the result of negligence, malfeasance, or incompetence. This is, in fact, the goal.
And that's Wesley Hunt. He is a U.S. representative, a U.S. congressman from Texas, as he told you, West Point grad. You should follow him on Instagram. I watch his stuff. I look at his stuff. The guy is amazing. He just appears to be a tremendous politician. Okay, with that being said, how does that make you feel now when it comes to liberties being taken away, freedoms being taken away, and probably most of all, your safety?
That's the worst part of it, is our safety.
This is going on in America. Where else are you hearing about this happening? Unless you're sitting watching C-SPAN all day and all the hearings or finding what you can, you're not going to know. That's what we do. That's what we try to do on canceltheshow.com. We try to find everything that's going on to make sure that you have an idea of at least have your head on a swivel to be able to speak up and maybe, and who knows, maybe move you in some sort of way. This is what the Biden administration is allowing. I can't even count 50 things going on that are terrible that were not going on just 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. This is what's happening to the country in every phase. Mm-hmm. It is a planned out strategy to destroy the United States of America, and all while pulling on your heartstrings. Oh, well, this is all for the goodness of, we want, and that's why I can't believe there was actually a Republican presidential candidate, Nikki Haley, saying we want them here. They're good people just looking for a better life.
I wonder if Nikki's going to house any of them. I wonder if she's going to invite them in her home.
There's actually Republicans who say this. Now, we know the bleeding heart Democratic liberals love it. Well, we just care about everybody, but we're going to do whatever we need to do and not even think about how it's going to happen. And we'll screw everybody else, and whether it's intentional or unintentional, to make sure that we feel good about ourselves because there's something internally that we don't like about ourselves. So we're going to do this to try to make ourselves feel better. Or is it a deceivious act to let this happen? This should piss you off. This should scare you as well in regards to what the TSA is doing. And not only that, the airports are now housing illegal aliens.
That is terrible.
All low. It's a time bomb waiting to blow up with all the illegals sitting all over airports. If you're a traveler, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've run through Chicago O'Hare Airport, there are illegals all over that airport sleeping, living in the damn airport. These are things that not only should scare you, but also piss you off. Nikki doesn't want to pay for them. Chris says he's in FB jail. Robert, I don't know what it is. Robert says he needs to head over to Rumble too. What's going on?
I got that Chicago O'Hare video.
You showed that. Yeah, great
it.
job. Look at this video from Chicago. This is what I was talking about. Not only are people getting on planes and not having to go through TSA, look at people living in Chicago Airport here. There you go. How does this make you feel?
It scares me, actually. It really does, because that is going to be desperate people that know they're here illegally. They're going to do whatever they have to do. Look at that airport. And nobody makes them leave?
It's an airport. It's an airport.
From the chat line, if we as Americans tried to live in airports like this, we would be arrested.
Heather is exactly right.
If you've ever boarded a plane in California, Texas, Arizona, you've seen them getting put on planes.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to protect us from the cartel? The police say just let it go. BS. That from Chicago O'Hare Airport. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing the show to let people know what we do here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. It's just about educating people and putting the work and the time in and the hours of research to make sure you know what's going on. And, of course, getting that message out. And then, of course, you sending that message to other people and promoting the show and letting people know what we're doing. This is what's happening. That TSA line really frustrated me. That was Chicago O'Hare, if you're just chiming in. But it's at many airports. And those TSA lines are at all airports, wherever they're dealing with illegals. Once again, illegal aliens, illegal aliens, illegal aliens. And that's why you can't trust people. And I'm sorry, like Nikki Haley.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if I upset you. You can't trust her when she's saying, well, I'm supported by all these billionaire people that used to support Ron DeSantis. And let's bring them all in. Okay, Nikki, where are they going to live? As Lizzie said, are they living in your house?
Yeah, Nikki doesn't have a solution. She says, let them all come in because they're seeking a better
It's about
life.
trying to get votes. It's playing on
100%.
It's about and maybe it's going after that class of people that Eric talked about. Ladies.
Yeah.
Sweet moms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yeah, we don't, of course, nobody wants bad.
No, there's a lot of really good people that are not politically aware and do not understand the threat this is.
Or want to understand.
Correct.
They want to, and I get it. They're like, I just want to put my head in the sand.
Correct.
Yeah,
and just let them all come in, because how would you like to be a mom that has to feed your kid and they don't have any money and they can just come over to America and we can help take care of them? Okay, I know it raises our
replacement votes is what Gary calls them. I still don't know how that's going to work out when it comes to an election.
They're going to bust them in. What they're going to do is they're going to put the same people that they bust from, say, Texas or Arizona up into Missouri, Illinois, Kansas, wherever. And then they're going to take those same people and offer them, here, you can have another, $500 card for whatever. If you just get in this bus and you go there, and because Biden is the one that liked you so much, you mark the Biden button. That is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to bus the illegals to vote. Mark my word, that's going to happen. They've been doing this with Black Lives Matters. They've been doing it with Antifa. They get them on buses. Now they've got the illegals. They're just not hiding it anymore. So you're going to watch it. If you work a booth, especially in one of these bigger cities, you're going to see these white buses pull up, dropping off people who do not speak English, have no idea what they're going in there doing, but they know they're going to take their little pen or their little computer and they're going to mark Biden. That's what's going to happen. Or whoever it is. If it's not Biden
Joe
and it's somebody else, that's what they're going to do.
I think they're going to be allowed to do mail-in balloting because
that depends on the state.
It's too risky to put, to let them go vote at a voting booth because everybody's going to be up in arms about it.
Heather says, I heard they get a voter card upon entering the United States. Not sure if it's true. Wish someone could find out. Yeah, we'll look into that too. I'm not sure. Illegals coming in with no skills to help, even in the trade industry. Yes. And you guys, these people will do jobs. Even Nadler said yesterday, we need immigrants to pick fruit out of the ground.
I couldn't believe he said
some of the most racist comments that have ever been said by Democrats, including Joe Biden. You want to talk about race with Martin Luther King Day coming up? Start with the Democrats quotes, and then we'll have a conversation about anything outside of that. One of the most racist quotes, and you don't hear about it. If Donald Trump said that, it would be on every network. Local, national, TV, radio, you name it, newspapers, what Jerry Nadler said about, we need immigrants to pick the fruit out of the ground.
He actually said that. That's like when Obama said the same thing. Well, we need them to come to our hotels and make our beds and stuff. They're so racist. And they want them to be beneath them to come and do the jobs they wouldn't do, taking jobs away from Americans.
Jeannie says, guys, there's the one, vote 10 times.
Yeah.
If there's mail-in ballots that are allowed, try to vote if they're all thrown in together.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Although I think those big bags that you saw people with post office uniforms on in those trucks with the big bags of votes and over their shoulder like Santa Claus, I think those all go straight to the Biden checkbox. I don't think those are looked at as
I don't think they're looked at all. They know what it is.
Glenn says they're already giving illegals the right to vote in local elections. That is a fact. Jason, evil bastards doing this to our country. Gary's like, they'll get a driver's license. They will. I mean, Gavin Newsom's already given illegal aliens in California health insurance.
Yeah.
Let me repeat and think about that. Health insurance. Just think about how much you have to pay for health insurance when you're doing it the right way. Health insurance can be damn expensive. It's destroying every part of our country. The fabric is going away. You guys and most of the people, and we have, thousands and thousands of people that listen, not only in the St. Louis metropolitan area, but across the country. You get it. But not enough people do, because people are just like, well, let's not ruffle feathers. Let's keep our head down and, just go about our life, and let's go have our dinner and go home and watch our Netflix, and everything's just going to be better tomorrow morning when we wake up on Saturday. And
well, and that is just ridiculous.
The time bomb is ticking, and the worst thing going on in this country is illegal immigration right now.
Absolutely.
We say it constantly. It is not getting better. It's getting worse, because it affects so many things in our country: school system, money, the economy, healthcare, lodging, all of these things going on right now.
And what you just said about the health insurance, that is so infuriating. Look at a lot of people that had retired, that have had to come out of retirement. There's 70 and 80-year-olds that could be retired. They could be on the beach, but instead they have to work. They might have enough money, but they don't think it'll stretch because they have to pay for their own health care. Medicare doesn't cover it.
Chris, we do see your comments. Sorry, a lot of people are having issues today.
We're seeing everyone's comments.
We are right now.
We are.
Thank you. If you have a question, just let us know. Kevin says, go to your local grocery store. Illegals are everywhere. Yeah, they are. Okay. It's part of our life in 2024 in America. But it is interesting because Eric Adams in New York started to whine, cry, complain. He kind of called out Joe Biden, not enough. But check out what the Lieutenant Governor of Massachusetts is now saying, because one of the best things that ever happened was Governor Greg Abbott in Texas starting to, you know what? You're not going to help us. We're going to bus them to your cities. You sanctuary cities. You love everybody. You going to take care of everybody? Okay. More power to you, New York. And then when you call their bluff, then they're running scared. They don't know what to do. How about this? How about what the lieutenant governor called a press conference? Literally called a press conference to tell people what we're going to give to you right now. Here she is.
Most importantly, if you have an extra room or suite in your home, please consider hosting a family. Safe housing and shelter is our most pressing need. Become a sponsor family. You can contact the Brazilian Workers Center for more information on how you can step up if you're willing to have an additional family be part of your family. If you're a local official, a college president, a business owner, or a faith leader with an available building or space in your community, please work with us to offer it as a shelter site. If you're a social service provider, please consider becoming an emergency assistance homeless shelter provider. Our resources are stretched thin there as well.
This is not a Saturday Night Live skit.
It looks like a skit.
Consider opening it up for emergency assistance. If you're a landlord or a property owner, we can use you too and connect you with service providers to help transition.
Certainly she's going to say I've opened up my house, right?
Yeah, hopefully. That's coming next, right?
Has something they can offer. Most importantly,
yeah, she didn't. And not one of those people on stage are saying that they're opening up their house or anything else.
Yeah.
Not one of them.
And what she was saying is so absurd. It's like, open up your homes, and if you have a suite or an extra room, invite them in there and give them safe place to fall. Okay. That same lady, I'd love to talk to her in person and say, did you ever stand up and say that about our veteran that fought in Vietnam or in Afghanistan, who is now homeless? They've got mental health issues from being shot at and watching their friends get killed. Did you ask anyone to open your home up to them? Of course she didn't.
These are the conversations that are being had by elected officials. Somebody elected this person. The majority, Massachusetts, Boston, shame on you. Shame on you. Change it. Change your elected leaders. Swallow the pride of having the D next to your name and just see what happens. Watch what happens. It will change for the positive. Invite them into your homes, your businesses. If you have spare rooms, if you have spare office space,
Yes.
let these illegals who have been unvetted come in. And yes, you know what? Maybe I'm going to be a bleeding heart liberal for a second. And maybe it's because I do have a heart for people. And Joe and Lizzie, and you know me, I have a heart. I do. I keep an open mind. I try to see the best in people. But here's the problem. All it takes is 1 out of 100 to really F up a lot of stuff.
Yes.
That's why you have checks and balances. That's why you have rules. That's why you have law. That's why you vet to make sure that everybody coming in is as safely vetted as possible, because it just takes one to screw up everything. Just imagine that.
But here's the thing.
1 out of every 100 of the 12 million people that have come into this country ready here with bad intentions. And if you think for a second that everybody's coming here with good intentions, I'm sorry, you are not sane, and we cannot have a conversation.
Well, they're not coming here with good intentions. Most of them aren't. And even if they are not coming here saying, okay, I'm going to go F up America, a lot of them are not raised the way we are. They don't know law. They don't know order. They're just being told by the Biden administration on their stupid little dumbass, app to come here, and they're going to give them everything. And so they're coming here thinking that we already owe them. And could you imagine? Okay, we'll play devil's advocate. I'm going to open my house up. I've got an extra room now because some of my kids moved out, but I still have 2 girls at home. I moved this whole family in, and they rape my daughter. And don't anyone say that's not going to happen. And these dumbass liberals are going to go, oh, but that's just an isolated incident. One American raped from one of those animals is enough to stop this bullshit. This is ridiculous. It just infuriates me. Well,
not only do we have the illegals coming in unvetted, Joe Biden in charge of this. It is interesting. Kamala Harris has been very quiet for like 2 months.
Yeah, she has.
I know
quiet.
that the vice president is not supposed to be over, but the muzzle has been put on her. What the hell? Did she take a permanent vacation?
I don't think they want her to say a word.
What's going on?
Away.
Did they finally look at all the polling, the most unpopular vice president in the history of our country, along with the worst president and most unpopular? She's been gone. And she was supposed to take care of the border. And of course, she laughed in Biden's face. Biden didn't want her. We've already heard Jill with hot mic situations and interviews talking about, why do we have to have her? Because, the deep state, as Donald Trump talks about, is real, making decisions. So all these people, how'd they get into our country with bad intentions? And then guess what? Now we have a situation in the Middle East, a larger situation in the Middle East. We have vessels being attacked in the Red Sea, international maritime vessels. You have Americans being put at risk because they're being attacked by Houthis, the Houthis who are backed by Iran. Iran is not our friend. Iran is an enemy. They are not our friends. And they certainly don't respect the United States with Joe Biden in charge. They have been backing what's happening, in the Red Sea. So the United States finally hits targets in Yemen. And it's interesting because not all Republicans are happy about this, because they said before we go to war, before we have attacks, Joe Biden should be in Congress talking about what's going to happen first. They hit at least a half dozen targets. And now guess what? The United States and our officials are telling us to beware because there could be attacks in the United States. Here's a comment. This was an interview that just took place yesterday as well.
This is a very sophisticated terror organization, Sean. It's been reported that there are sleeper cell agents from Hezbollah in the United States. They have proxies around Latin America. We'll remember their attacks in Argentina and other places for many years. And of course, we can't forget the Beirut attacks. So Hezbollah it's a terror group that has long roots and long capability to attack and kill Americans.
Yeah, how does that make you feel on a Friday? That's what's going on. These situations are happening. There's no leadership from Joe Biden. There's no leadership from Kamala Harris. There's no leadership with our our Secretary of Defense being in the ICU for 4 days and nobody knows where he is. The country being run by his supportive staff from beaches.
Well, they don't know who he is. We don't know where Kamala is. We don't know where Biden is. I mean, our country, who's running it? Who?
Yeah, and KJP, And I'm sorry.
All those people in Massachusetts needs to take note and invite these people into their basement.
Good point.
Well,
Good point there, Joe.
KJP, arguably the worst press secretary in the history of this country. And it's amazing that every position that was filled, every cabinet position has been filled, has been arguably the worst that this country's ever had. It was not done by accident. It was done on purpose. KJP refused to answer when she was asked, where's Joe Biden been? Because for a president to disappear for 3-4 days, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
President Biden has not had any events at the White House in the new year, and he's been kept from public view for 3 full days now. Why?
The president had a 3-day swing, went to 4 states in the new year. He went to just recently, he went to Pennsylvania, Valley Forge, where he gave a really impactful, important remarks on our democracy, protecting our democracy on the eve ahead of January 6th. What we saw in 2011 on January 6th was an attack on our democracy, and he went out there and he spoke to the American people. It was very well received, and this is something that he's going to continue to do. He went to, obviously he was in Delaware, and then he went to South Carolina, also gave another...
She's not answering the question.
No, she's talking around it.
And then he went to Texas to honor a former congresswoman, EBJ, who recently passed away, and he went there to pay his respect. So the president did a three-day swing. He went to 4 states. He's been out there. He's been able to talk directly to the American people, and we think that's really important. Tomorrow,
she didn't talk about where he's been the last 3 days.
No. Well,
a job is every day. Do you guys just get to go to work like every now and then and vacation a third of the time that you're in your profession?
Right.
No, she's a liar, and this is what people do. They mask the situation, no pun intended, and then try to, well, when he's been working. No, he's not. He's nowhere. He needs to rest because he can't do the job. My God, this is crazy. The things that are happening in the United States, and there's not enough people calling it out.
There isn't. And she just talks around things. She never gets to the point, and she just rambles, and she just goes on and on and on. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And she thinks that if she looks down her nose and is condescending to people because she's so much better than everyone else, because she was a DEI hire, she's Black, she's a lesbian, she's a Democrat. So she just thinks that she's better than everyone else. That's why she was hired. And hear what I'm doing? I'm going on and on and on, like she is. It's a bunch of BS.
Chris says it's interesting. Pete Buttigieg, for being in the news for so long, has been out, but he kind of screwed up. They put a muzzle on him for sure because he couldn't do anything right. It is interesting. Where do you see national headlines going towards? Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Judge Ignorant in New York, what he is doing, if you really break down that case, is that's illegal. What he is doing. It's just sad how they're trying to defy Donald Trump from doing anything. Donald Trump spoke out yesterday because of all the indictments. Trump came out because he is, you want to talk about a leader? You want to talk about somebody who sounds presidential, looks presidential, is focused. That man is focused not only on campaigning when he can, on doing town halls when he can, but fighting all the indictments thrown at him. There is nothing this man to date has not been able to accomplish, showing up, doing everything. Here's Donald Trump's press conference yesterday after going to New York and giving he gave some closing arguments, so to speak, yesterday. He had a chance to defend himself against the judge's wishes. And here's what he had to say about all these cases going on.
You can't have 2 tiers of justice in this country. But no, I want to go to all of my trials. These are all set up by Biden and the Democrats. This is their new form of cheating. This is, like last time, this is their new form of cheating. So far, I think it's gone very much against them. Yeah, please.
Yes,
it's what's happening, a new form of cheating. A new form of cheating. But this is a man, like him or not, like his past or not, that is presidential. He's focused. He's a leader. He is on point. He has conversations. He has media appearances. And guess what? He's handling complex issues. He's talking about complex issues. He's laying out the groundwork, what would happen in the next presidency. There's nobody else that's doing that. There's nobody else that's doing that. And all at the same time where he knows he's being screwed over from a legal standpoint. And he doesn't have the media on his side. He has the media against him, not even down the middle, but against him. It's amazing to watch what's happening from a political standpoint in 2024. And we all think something else is going to happen. The drama isn't just going to stop. It's going to continue on.
Right. It's going to continue and continue.
And in the midst of all of it, remember me yesterday talking about I couldn't wait to see until ratings came out from the debate night? The fake debate. The kids
debate.
The kids' table on CNN. Haley DeSantis arguing, spatting, whining, crying about who's going to be the distant second place. Donald Trump's town hall on Fox with Brett Baird and Martha McCallum against CNN's just brutal programming of Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis.
Brutal.
Beat CNN by 70%.
I believe it, though. That sounds like a lot, but I believe
there have never been numbers that large in the history of this country when it comes to TV ratings. I know ratings. I study them. I used to look at them every day because I like scorecards. 70%.
And that makes sense.
The deep state knows they can't beat Trump. It's over. Number one, he's the nominee. Number two, he'll destroy Joe Biden. So that's why you have all of this stuff happening, and it's going to get worse. We don't know what's going to happen. The illegals continue to come into this country, and that maybe that's part of it, as a lot of our viewers and listeners say. They need the votes. The deep state needs the votes. They're going to let them vote. But there's such a hatred for this man who none of us have gone through the crap that he has gone through. And here he goes. And Glenn says, remember what Vivek said at the end of his commercial on CNN?
Yes.
Turn this shit off.
Yeah, that was such a good commercial. Golden.
Derek says, how much higher was Vivek over CNN? I don't know, because Vivek did a podcast. So it's not kind of could be an apples to apples, but not really comparison when it comes to ratings. Maybe we'll see. I don't know what Timcast's numbers were, but I guarantee it was large. It might have beat him. Who knows? Even for a podcast.
Oh, I bet they did. I bet Trump's was number one, but I bet more people watched Vivek instead of the crybaby table.
Chris says it did have better ratings. If you guys see any numbers, put them on. I mean, we love you guys, educate us too, and inform us. I would love to know what they are. But 70%, that's freaking crazy good.
That is crazy.
But once again, it's Donald Trump sitting on a stool talking about policy, not social agendas, not drama. I'm not worried about retribution. I'm moving forward.
Good for him.
And then he's doing this in the state of Des Moines, where you have a governor, I think her name's Kim Reynolds, who is all about Ron DeSantis. And fine, you can like whoever you want. But even getting into social media, like St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones likes to get into, she was reposting pictures, taking shots at Donald Trump and his family.
Who was doing that?
On her alt account, the governor of Iowa.
Oh, wow.
Posted a picture, or she reposted. Somebody else made the post, and she reposted it of Ron DeSantis. You know, he's a good-looking man with his pretty wife and their three gorgeous kids.
Yeah, they're pretty.
And then Donald Trump with four women with him who are, they're showing cleavage. They're beautiful women in beautiful dresses, and saying. And the post read something to the effect of, "Look at the difference between these two families."
Oh, stop it.
And she reposted it from one of her alt accounts.
Oh my gosh. That is ridiculous.
And I'm like, what have we gone? I mean, so even Republicans going after this man.
Yeah.
And there he stands, because Americans, as much as Americans as a whole, as we can have our head in the sand, as much as we can be uneducated on issues, eventually we do come around. I really feel we do. And Americans, fool me once, shame on me, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And I think Americans see it, and they want to watch them, and they see it.
Yeah.
70% more people watching Donald Trump than two people on CNN, which is very, very scary. And then you know what else came out yesterday? We were talking about Vivek. How
do you say it? Is it Vivek or Vivek?
I just say Vivek now. Okay. It's easier for me.
Right. Me too.
Vivek?
Yeah. I try to say Vivek, but then I've heard it both ways.
He did a little, I love the information he puts out. I just do. I love it.
It is very interesting.
And if he turns out to be a plant, he's one of those bad guys. You know what? Then shame on me. But I don't believe it.
I can't tell because he says some bizarre things.
But everything he is saying is 100% spot on. Checks
It is
out
spot
all
on.
Republican. Here's what he had to say yesterday about what's happening. And this is an interesting prediction. What do you guys think about this? About Vivek's prediction.
The system wants to narrow this down to a two-horse race between Donald Trump and a puppet who they can control. And it has become increasingly clear that puppet is not a Democrat. It's not even Gavin Newsom. It's Nikki Haley. It's in our own party. Well, today, one more step in that plot unfolds. Chris Christie drops out. Next up, I'm going to make a prediction. You're actually going to see Ron DeSantis join Nikki Haley's ticket. He's going to be her VP. The whole game, it's hiding in plain sight. Whatever it takes. And this system will stop at nothing. And I mean nothing. To eliminate Donald Trump from contention. It's disgusting. But the same people who have said they're not going to actually take a principled stand against Trump's removal from the ballot. Haley and DeSantis are both in that category. Do the math, people. That's next up. Ron DeSantis is after Iowa. Everybody, including Chris Christie, apparently got a phone call from Ron DeSantis. Panicked was the word that Chris Christie used. This is the way the plot's going. Ron may not know this. Ron DeSantis may not know this. But that's what his donors are going to make him do. That's what's coming next. Ron DeSantis will become Nikki's VP, whether or not Ron knows it. It's not really his choice. He's not the one in charge of that decision.
That's
and then the plot continues.
This is golden.
We have to open our eyes and not fall into their trap. Our America First agenda cannot end. Our movement cannot end with Donald Trump when they take him out from contention. And if you think this system is going to even let this man get anywhere near the White House, we need to open our eyes. We need to do the right thing for our country. They are selling us the rope today that they're going to use to hang us tomorrow. Do not fall into the trap, people. And that's why I'm here.
This is a free-for-all Friday.
Yeah.
And Vivek takes the cake.
Yeah, he does.
Vivek for VP.
What a freaking prediction. This is so damn interesting to me. It's funny because, it's Ron may not know what Ron's going to be
liked
doing.
when he said Ron may not know. Okay.
Poor Ron. Ron, get up from the kids' table. Go to your room. We'll tell you what you're going to be doing in just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, there he is with his face.
Poor guy. No, I don't want to rip him. I feel bad. I don't want to make fun of people. I don't. But damn, Vivek is making fun of him.
Yeah, he is. And
in a way, he is making fun of him.
He is. And I like Vivek on this thing. Okay, so Terry just said on the chat line something that's great.
I keep dropping my pen. Sorry for our viewers.
Yeah, he's picking up stuff off the floor.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Vivek, she thinks that he's a plant, but not, it's like what we talked about yesterday. She's kind of agreeing with what we said yesterday, that if he's a plant, he might be paid for by somebody in Donald Trump's camp, which is why
he's not a bad plant for Donald Trump.
No, he's a good plant. That was the point. That was the point. I don't know that he'll end up being the VP because he's telling us flat out, Donald Trump is not going to make it. He might make it as the candidate, but they'll never let him at the White House. Okay, so Ron...
He's so good. The only thing he could be is the Antichrist.
Right.
Vivek is so good.
He is so good. He is so good.
And they're major issues. It's not just telling us what you want to hear. He dives into them with feeling, with passion, giving people a chance to give... I mean... there's so many things to break down with this. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's totally fine. I think he could be right here. And what the sad part of it is when he said Ron DeSantis probably doesn't know that. And he's making a joke out of that. But think about, gosh, he's such a good governor and did all the right thing there. But then he is not doing a great job in his campaign. Is it because he's not as smart as we thought he was? Or is it because his donors are making him do things?
I don't even care about him anymore. I mean, not in a negative sense. It's like he's not even on my radar screen.
Well, but he might be if they both go against Donald Trump on the same ticket.
So many things, those two combining together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you imagine that? And there was once upon a time where there's no way Ron would be a VP candidate with Donald Trump.
Right.
And then you make that decision like I gave you yesterday, that college football player, basketball player that transfers thinking their situation's going to be better on another team.
Yeah.
He would be relegated. There's no way in hell he would be relegated to being the VP for Nikki Haley.
Could you imagine?
No, please, Ron.
That's Dumb and Dumber right there.
No, well, okay, whatever, maybe. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's interesting that Vivek has gone that far in stating a prediction about what's going to happen. He's made a lot of predictions in the last month. One, Donald Trump will never be in the White House in 2024 because they're not going to allow it.
Though.
I know. Two, that Ron DeSantis donors would go to Nikki Haley, and they have, and they
Yes,
did.
and they did.
And she even brought it up the other night. And now he's making the prediction that you have a Haley DeSantis. If you vote for me, Ron DeSantis is going to be my little porch dog, my little puppy.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Going to be sitting in the
Come
rocking
here, Ronnie.
chair.
Come here, Ron. I mean, no, there's no. For the first time, I don't believe what Vivek is predicting.
I think he's predicting that to throw everybody off because I think he's Donald Trump's VP. I think he's saying that just to throw people off. Because if you notice,
right.
Trump did not respond to that.
What do you mean respond to what?
To his prediction.
Well, Donald can't. He doesn't respond to most people, though. He doesn't have time to respond to people.
I think something like that
Donald
he would have responded to. He would have.
No, he doesn't respond to stuff like that anymore. He just doesn't. He's busy. He's too damn busy.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He's giving
tweet
closing
or
arguments
anymore.
in cases.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could respond to that, but I think Vivek, he knows that he's absolutely has no chance whatsoever.
But he does have a chance to be VP.
He does have a chance to be
and
VP.
he said that he would. We've talked about that yesterday.
Yes.
He was asked at a I don't know where his town hall was, press conference, if he would consider. He said, "Yeah, of course I would." He's like, "Of course,
he said 100%.
I would."
He even said 100%.
Donna says God is at the wheel with him. Nothing is impossible. I keep believing he will win. And
I want to believe what Donna says too. I want to believe that in the end, this is really a bunch of nonsense and Trump gets back in and God could do that.
And it's like an 80s movie.
Yes, I hope
like Rocky.
that happens. But you know what we're forgetting? Many people in this country has forsaked God. God might not bail us out of this.
I know. I've had that opinion as well.
Yeah.
But so that's what Vivek says first. Nikki Haley and Ron are going to be on the same ticket. That's a big statement. Very interesting. The second part, he said again, for the second time in a month, he has stated the deep state is not going to allow Donald Trump near the White House.
He keeps
That's
saying
the
it,
second time he has said it.
Yeah. But a lot of people are saying that, though, Vic. A lot of people are saying that Donald Trump will never be allowed there. They're going to do whatever they can. And we know they're not trying to hide it anymore. They're doing anything they can. And I do believe with Vivek in the fact that they're now doing it in the Republican Party because there's nobody on the Democrat side that can beat Trump. Nobody. So they're going to try to take him out and put in Nikki Haley, who is an absolute puppet and has a lot of the uneducated women vote.
Well, what do you mean by uneducated? Just uninformed, maybe?
Uninformed. I don't mean that they're not smart or they're not book smart or they're not intelligent. I just mean people who don't get in the nuts and bolts.
They're not Lizzie Sparks smart.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's like I have so many people that will tell me, yeah, but Nikki will be great and she's a female. I'm like, but tell me what she's done good for America. Not for herself, not for NATO, not for the UN, not for any of that. Tell me what she's going to do.
Well, I don't know what you guys think about this, but Newsweek just came out with a poll. Now, this is Newsweek, middle to left polling. As I always state, if you see a poll, be sure you know who did the polling, and if possible, find out who paid for it, because there's always an interest and everything revolves around money. Newsweek is now saying Nikki Haley would beat Donald Trump in a face-off if they were to go against each other in Michigan. And I'm like... What? Stop it. Come on. Just be honest. Literally, they're putting that stuff out there. There is no way in hell that would happen in the state of Michigan. No freaking way. We have a lot of Michigan people who are on the show. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. No way. So I bring that up, number one, because I guess it's being put out as news. Two, it made me laugh. And Jeannie says a lot of polls are now being AI generated. That's something I did not know. I had no idea. That would be interesting because if AI was trying to send things out and generate polling, we have a whole nother problem.
We do have well, you know that
because who can companies sue? I mean,
AI?
And who's doing the AI? I guess they could go back and try to track where that came from. I mean, there's certain algorithms, but my God, I couldn't even imagine. This one is not AI generated. This comes straight from Newsweek about Nikki Haley. I just Nikki Haley in Michigan. No, which is why I'm like, okay, remember what we talk about. There's going to be multiple things still thrown at the Trump campaign as long as he is a candidate. more things are going to happen. More information is going to be put out. More of an effort to eliminate this man or anybody associated with him. There is a reason Americans need to think, why is there such a hard push by everybody to try to keep him out when our country was so much better?
Mm-hmm.
When this man, all he has to do is walk away and he gets his great life back. But instead, he chooses to sit there and go through hell, and his whole family goes through hell, and friends go through hell, and people who are politically tied to him are pushed into corners and every other kind of situation. It's not because he enjoys abuse.
No, I don't think he just enjoys
the man
abuse.
Wants to help America.
Yes. He's called to do it. My belief is that he is called by God to do this now. It is his time and place to do this. No one else can do it. And it's not because I think he's God or he's Christ. Like, I don't think anything like that.
Jason says that's love. You know what that is? That's unconditional love for a country.
Yes, I love that so
Which is
much.
what leaders used to have.
Yes.
Which is how we became what we were at one point in time with the greatest generation that this country ever had. My grandparents. The people who fought and died and knew what it was like to actually be worried about freedom. Not us now. Because I'll call myself on it too. We become selfish. We become comfortable. And we forget that you don't get this for free. And here we go with all of this stuff and elections in 2024 being this crazy year. And we see it. It's happening on a daily basis. Everything that's going on in our world and our country. And I literally had a guy from Michigan tell me, and he's a friend of mine, and he has national website news. And he got back to me because he loves what we're doing, but he's like, you know what? I talk to people, Vic, and he's like, we just think that we would have a real tough time selling your show. And I'm like, why? He's like, well, because you say things that people don't want to hear.
We sure do.
And I'm like,
we tell them the truth.
I said, well, then hopefully there's somebody who wants to get associated with our show because we tell facts.
Yes.
And he's like, it's just, people just, they don't want to hear about politics. And he's like, and I agree with you that what you say is true and you guys bring up facts, but he's like, yeah, people just, they want dogs and they want happy things and they want comedy and music. And he's like, and I know these are the things that take Americans' minds off of the serious issues, but that's what people like to get involved. I'm like, I have to believe there's people who want to back shows like the shows that we do. And he's like, and maybe there are. He's like, we just don't think we could sell it. I'm like, okay.
Well, and that it is.
And I bring that up to remind people that people don't. Well, yeah.
It is easier to sell a puppy dog and music and joy and all that.
Well, it's the fluff stuff.
It is the fluff stuff.
We called it in news. Like, oh, let's end a show with fluff stuff.
Yes. And fluff stuff is fun. And
because
we all
Americans
should be
like
in
fluff stuff. We don't want serious, allegedly. But when it's a coming home and changing your lives and changing your money and changing your health and changing your families and changing your faith, maybe people start to think a little bit differently.
Well, and the other day we were talking about how somebody said, oh my gosh, we're just such a far right show.
We're not far right.
We're not far right.
And I don't want to be far right. And we will never be far right.
And it's like, and we're both conservatives. I am a conservative and I really like the love that Donald Trump has for this country. But I will even call out people that are supposedly politicians that are very conservative because sometimes the choices that they're making aren't good. They're doing it for political gain. So we don't just go along the mainstream of the regular politics of today, even of the far right. We just tell the truth, and the truth hurts.
Terry says, thank God we all don't think like that. Here's the other thing. I do think that people, I don't know. I can't even make that generalization. Everybody's different. Some people just want to walk around, as my friend David Gregory. By the way, he and his wife Paige just had a little baby girl.
Aww.
And Dave Gregory, former state rep from Sunset Hills, who's now running for state senate.
Those pictures were beautiful, by the way.
As he said, he's like, guys, it's all right to ruffle feathers.
It is.
Guys, it's all right to ruffle feathers. Once again, guys, it's all right to ruffle feathers.
Yes.
But then I know it can make you feel a little uncomfortable, but people would rather not everybody stick their head down and kind of, okay, whatever. Michelle says he is correct talking about my friend. Most Americans do not want to hear the truth, as the truth is real and could bring you to realize what is going on. We like to think that there are people that want to hear truth, because all we have done is grow and grow and grow with this show over the past year, specifically in the last 6 months. And we think that it's there. We think that people do care, that you want to have a place where you can go and talk and educate us and others and get educated at the same point in time, which is what this platform is all about.
Absolutely. And we like to hear from other truth seekers that want to know the truth. And
big team, little me.
There you go. Big team, little me. And the listeners are part of this really big team that they'll send us stuff all the time. And I'll be like, dang, I didn't know that. And then you dig into it and you're like, I saw it a little bit differently yesterday, but that wasn't the truth. So I love all of this information.
I like this. Roland says you become responsible once the information is presented.
Absolutely.
That
is great.
It's also biblical in an indirect way as well.
Yes, it is.
Terry reminds us our country was founded and will be saved by ruffling feathers. Think about that. Our country was founded and will be saved on the grounds of ruffling feathers. It's good stuff. Let that sink in for a second. Going through some of the comments here before I say it. This is Cancel This, by the way, canceltheshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. Eric may be showing up today. It's a free-for-all Friday. We've got all kinds of crazy things that happen on Fridays. Kelly Mano, not with us today. She'll be back next Friday. She did start her show this last week, by the way, that we'd like to promote. The Kelly Mano Show on YouTube. That was a big success. She'll be doing that. Is she going to be doing it live every Tuesday, Joe?
I believe so. I think that's the plan.
So Kelly's one of our team members, so we promote that. She'll be back next Friday. We want to say special thanks real quick to our sponsors, our advertisers. We're always looking for people to partner with us in some way or form. Vic at canceltheshow.com, Lizzie at canceltheshow.com. Let us know if you know people that would want to be involved with us. You can make a donation if you appreciate what we're doing. Canceltheshow.com. You click on the donate button. Amini's in the Chesterfield Valley, leading supplier in traditional infrared saunas and saltwater hot tubs. And it's amazing the medical research that has now come out and what saunas can do for you. And you can go to our website, canceltheshow.com, click on partners, and you can find out more information. That way we see that you're going there, they see. And with any of our advertisers, let them know that you heard them or they're an advertiser on Cancel the Show, and they'll give you a discount. Also, Experience Realty Partners, Kathy Hobig-Strick, Steve Strict. Steve with New American Funding, powered by Score Mortgage as well. And of course, if you're looking to get healthy like Lizzie was, New Age Health and Wellness, they have stores all around the St. Louis metropolitan area and more coming. Route 66 Cannabis, 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area, plus the Ostara brand line. Ostara is in hundreds of stores across the state as well. Strategic Air Services, where we broadcast live out of Monday through Friday. The premier private transportation providers in all things aviation, from aircraft management to concierge services and acquisition. WeQuip, a peer rental marketplace where renters can go and rent items that they don't own and use them for a day or a week. Really cool website. Also, if you want to rent your own items, you can do that as well. And of course, Winty's, the original food shack of the Gumbo Flats, the best pizza, burgers, wings, and smoked meats in the area that you're going to find, plus an outdoor patio, lots of live entertainment. And they will have the Kansas City Chiefs on TV tomorrow night as they play the Miami Dolphins, who I think they're going to destroy the Miami Dolphins. We'll see how that goes in sub-zero weather. By the way, if you're looking for tickets, and if you weren't with this at the beginning of the show, Kansas City Chief tickets down to $45. Who would have ever thought a Kansas City Chiefs playoff game, first round playoff game, the defending Super Bowl world champs, $45 tickets? Well, I guess weather wins the day on that. Canceltheshow.com here Monday through Friday. I'm Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. And of course, all the time on our website, canceltheshow.com. Okay. If you guys have story ideas, interviews, people that we should be associated with, not just from an advertising standpoint, but getting people on, let us know. Private message me. If you have contacts for people, we love to get these stories out. That's what we do. Right. From the chat line, parking may cost more than the ticket. That's a good point, but I bet you'll be able to park closer to the stadium. Chiefs fans are some of the best ever. I find it hard to believe that it's going to be an empty stadium. Chief fans are amazing. Let's see here. Going through, Lizzie says, thanks to everybody. We do appreciate everybody for your support, jumping in and doing the things that you do. Okay. I had to get that in because of our time frame, but I have to finish up something when it comes to politics. I know it's a Friday, but we have a good thing going with this. How does this make you feel? And it adds to everything that's going on. A new super political action committee, a PAC, is trying to raise $300 million to support a candidate that they say is, quote, backed by no labels. The group is seeking to offer voters an alternative. And who are they trying to do away with? Joe Biden, clearly, but now they're trying to associate Donald Trump with Joe Biden. If you can't beat the man, try to associate him with something that's negative, something that's old, something that's unenergetic, something that looks like it's dying out. Who would their candidate be? So the group called New Leaders 24. Once again, New Leaders 24. And they say that this new super PAC, it was first reported by the New York Times, I think yesterday. They registered, so they're legitimate with the Federal Elections Commission on Wednesday. And they say that they're trying to pick a centrist to lead their ticket and come in at the last second to beat Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I don't know if that even has a shot now, unless it's a name person
that we already know.
And who is going to put up $300 million at this point in the game?
Roland is saying it sounds sorrowish, and I agree. I mean, that does sound like somebody that
no labels. Well, we all want a political party with no labels. We say that all the time.
Correct.
But you can't have, I mean, there is no way. It's what happens.
And like Robert is saying, who's a centrist? Back in the day.
Tell me who a centrist is.
Yeah. Who is a centrist today? Give it, on the chat line, literally type who you think is a centrist these days. I would like to know who that is. And there hardly
You're not allowed to be a centrist anymore.
You can't. You have to be real far right or real far left. If you're a centrist, then if you're a Republican, you're seen as a rhino. And then if you're a left, you're just seen as a nobody. So, I mean, a centrist in theory, back in the good old days, was a great way to be a politician. You got stuff done. You can get along. You might even be able to do that a little bit in your state. But gosh, as a country, that's really hard to do. Is a centrist considered a moderate? I mean, what is that? I mean, I don't even see anybody on the chat line coming up with a name, and they're normally good with coming up with something. I mean, who comes to your mind that's a centrist?
A country music star has released a new song backing DeSantis called "Never Back Down."
Never Back Down.
I don't know. Billy Dean, a member of the Florida Music Hall of Fame with 3 certified gold albums. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, I never heard
11 Billboard country music top 10 hits, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we're not trying to pile on Ron. That's what I said. I gave him a little shout out right there as well, right? Kind of.
Well, and Ron would be a good choice if he would just get out now and back Donald Trump and fix his image so that when 2028 comes around, he would have been a viable candidate.
After he loses in the Iowa caucus, word is that's when he's going to suspend his campaign.
He should. He needs to.
And I didn't hear Vivek say that. I read that in another place.
Yeah, I've seen that in a couple different places. And that's what he needs to do. If he ever wants to be in politics again, he needs to fix his image and dump whoever his money givers are, because they have done him dirty. They really have. They've ruined his image.
Where are we going here? I'm trying to find out. Okay. All right. It is Friday. And if you guys have other topics or anything that you want to talk about, just let us know. Kevin Sorbo? What? Kevin Sorbo? Oh my God. Of course.
Is a centrist?
He's not a politician.
So he's thinking he might be a centrist.
RFK Jr., unfortunately, he wanted to play himself as a centrist, but he is a liberal.
Yeah.
And of course, I was ripping him yesterday for not telling Charlie Kirk who he would choose as Supreme Court candidates.
Correct.
I'm not going to get it right now. I mean, that's what he sounded like.
He did. And you know what? I like him and he might be the most moderate out of anyone due to just his COVID
He just needs to
thoughts.
campaign without his shirt on and say as little as possible.
Yes, that's right. Keep his shirt off and
the best
say
thing for him.
nothing.
Except if it's about not taking a vaccine. Let him talk about vaccine health.
That's right.
With the shirt off, doing push-ups and drinking protein shakes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a way to get things going. The other thing, let's see here. I was trying to find it again. So that's the Super PAC committee. We'll see if anything happens. I'm not quite sure anything is going to happen with that new centrist committee. I think it's too late in the game unless they had some, quote, candidate that brings up all kinds of publicity. You're Dwayne The Rock Johnson and so forth. Okay. Something else happened when we talk about bad things happening in this country, or just, and we have to show it just because this happened in our backyard in the St. Louis metropolitan area. We've shown these kinds of things happening before. I know kids, there's some kids that have problems, but we back our police, we back our military, we back our teachers, we back our nurses. And these are some of the people that bust their ass more so than anybody, and nobody knows. And you guys know I work with nurses as well on the side job, and they're amazing. And teachers, we've all dealt with these teachers who are doing this not to get rich, but because they want to help.
Yes, absolutely.
And getting a teaching degree is not easy, not by any means. I would argue it's easier to get a sales degree, to get a general degree.
I would agree, because they have to take these extra tests these days and all kinds of stuff. To be a teacher, you have to work.
And then you have to deal with the things, and this is what's happening in society. Check out this video that happened in the Normandy School District, a teacher and a student.
Watch this, guys. This is disgusting.
God damn. Okay.
That is absolutely unreal.
And that, you say that's a teacher getting pounded by a student?
Well, when you first see it, you can't tell which is which. And then it ended up that the teacher is the one that plummeted the hell out of the kid. But the kid, the story goes, the kid first was mouthing off, threw her phone at her, and then took the first swing. So then the teacher just beat the shit out of this kid. And I'm glad. I was happy to see it, because it wasn't like she just did it out of the blue. But then, of course, the kid, is one, oh, poor kid. Poor kid. And I don't know what you do. If a student comes at you and throws a phone at your head and then starts taking a punch at you, what do you do? What's your reaction? I guess as a teacher, you're supposed to put your hands behind your back.
No,
but you have to fight back. That's awful.
Somehow, some way. And it all depends. I mean, knowing how afraid school principals can be of lawsuits and everything else, because everybody's always worried about being sued.
They are.
I still don't know what the hell happened. We don't know all the details. I mean, some of those, or what's going on in that girl's life, parents. But we've seen far too many of these videos.
Well, and I understand.
Teachers have to defend themselves.
They do. And I do understand that girl obviously has had bad parenting. That girl might even be homeless, whatever the situation is. And so you want to feel bad for that girl, but you know what? Come on, don't be an animal. Don't come into the class and look at all the other people. I was surprised at how many people did jump in, because a lot of times kids just record, and there were obviously recording. That's how we saw that. But there were people that were trying to stop it. So I don't know. I know I was an educator in the public school system, and I'll tell you what, the difference between being a teacher in the public school system, and I also taught in parochial schools, and I owned my own childcare center for 26 years, and there would be no way in hell I would go back and teach in any public school these days. Those teachers are awesome. They're great. I mean, just besides the DEI, the stuff they have to deal with, even in quote, good school districts. The principals do not back the teachers. When there is a kid that comes at you, or there's kids that are calling you the F word, we had Lena Ford in here, and she was talking about the basic unruliness in a, quote, good school district, and teachers don't do anything. They don't do anything. They know they're not going to get backed anyway.
Well, this is another situation, and this gets to schooling, and it goes along with what we're talking about. I don't know if you guys saw this, but with DEI, and Joe, this is nothing that I gave you. There's now mandatory training for all New York City public school teachers. And teachers, what do you think about this? Or people who are associated with teachers or had experience. They have something that's called the Wheel of Identity. Literally, this is called the Wheel of Identity. And Joe, I'll send you a picture of this. The Wheel of Identity helps teachers decide who oppressors are in their schools. Once again, with all the major stuff going on in our country, we have these issues to deal with. You have people that are trying to take social issues, blow them out of proportion because they know that they can't talk with policy issues. This concerns the hell out of me. And I cannot believe this is actually happening in 2024. I should be able to believe this because this is what deep state stuff wants. But check out this. This is called the Wheel of Identity. And the Wheel of Identity says the oppressors are you ready for this? People who are slim.
Oh, stop.
So if you're slim, I'm telling you, look at the joke that's being played on Americans.
Wow.
Right now.
So the number one thing is if you're slim.
No, it's not number one. There's a whole list.
Okay.
We've got like 8 to 10 of these. So public school teachers in New York, and if it's happening in New York, it's going to happen other places.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, go tell your public school teachers about this kind of crap. So public school teachers are supposed to look for people who might be oppressors as being slim. So you're fit or you're thin. White. That's right. I said white. That should piss off black people.
Yes.
So you're slim and you're white. That means you're an oppressor, or it means you're more likely to be an oppressor. But here we go. We're not done yet. You're a citizen.
What?
If you're an oppressor,
my gosh.
This comes from the DEI department.
Unbelievable.
Oh, we're not done yet. Wait till you hear this. You speak English.
Oh my gosh.
New York City public schools. You're able-bodied. You could be an oppressor. So right now we've got
able-bodied. So if you're not sitting in a wheelchair, you're an oppressor?
You're thin, you're white, you're a citizen, you speak English, you're able-bodied. You have more chances of being an oppressor. Oh, you're heterosexual.
Well, all three of us here in the studio today, we're all oppressors.
Jason says I'm an oppressor.
Oh my God.
With my luscious locks.
Ugh.
So slim, white, you're a citizen. You speak English, you're able-bodied, you're heterosexual. How dare you own property?
That's my favorite hobby, though, is oppressing people.
That's right. Now people
do it daily.
Yes, you do.
We got a lot of guilties on the chat line. You own property. You're a cisgender man. I still don't know what that means.
That just means you're not gay, right?
Yeah, I'd still want somebody to
just means you're a straight male.
Then cisgender, we have to say all this bullshit. Cisgender. Okay, you got that on there now too. So we're taking more swipes at being natural and normal. And you're mentally robust. What does that mean?
That you're mentally robust because it means that you stick up for yourself, yes, and confident. You have a good self-esteem. Because see, that's the whole bottom line is they want to have the people that are like exactly what you said, slim, smart, English speaking, not gay, all of those things.
Has an ego.
Yep, has an ego. And having a good, healthy ego is a good thing. I'm not saying be, a sociopath narcissist, but if you're a normal, good egoed person, they don't want you to do that. They want to make dumb people out of us who can't speak English.
I'm still trying to process the fact that
have mental problems.
The diversity department, which is why Elon Musk and others saying DI is the worst thing that's happening in this country.
Besides illegal immigration, it's the worst thing in this country.
Unfortunately, we are the show of oppressors.
Mm-hmm. Paul
I think we need to change the name of the show.
Paul says the devil works his magic through the wheel of shit.
That's so true.
In other words, how Americans used to be. You tear down the fabric of America.
Yes.
You tear down patriotism. You tear down godly.
Apparently, I'm raising my children, too, to be oppressors because they fit the bill on all of that. So apparently my family is just a bunch of oppressors. Apparently yours is, too.
I've just...
What in the world?
Yeah.
Well, and New York is the same people that we talked about yesterday that opened their doors and kicked out children that are citizens and children that are students and put in the illegals. I mean, and it just sounds so bizarre, but you're right, Vic. If it's happened in New York or California, it doesn't maybe happen to the magnitude in the Midwest, but it's here. And people are fighting back less and less on this stuff.
Nowhere on that wheel did I see politician.
Correct. Of course not.
Well, no, because these are kids. It's for teachers to recognize students
characteristics about a kid, about a human.
I thought they were just teaching.
Mary, you're speaking my language. Family breakdown has been one of the worst.
Yes.
And I'm not going to preach from the pulpit this morning, but if you believe that you came from God, there's a family aspect to that whole situation.
Agree. And that's why they're trying to, that's why they tried to shut our churches down during the pandemic. And they're still trying to put that in our churches. Look at churches today. And if you really look at them, our churches are hurting because not as many people are going because they saw what was going on. And check out your seminaries, guys. They're full of DEI teaching our pastors. It's a scary, scary thing.
Gary says, my wife is my oppressor. I'm sorry.
That's right. Good, Gary.
Jason says the DEI are all whack jobs.
They really are.
And Chris, I just looked down. Could you give me the ratings? I saw that earlier, Chris, if you're still listening. Sorry, I got a lot going on. We have tons of comments that come out throughout the show. You posted some ratings. I think it might have been with Vivek regarding his podcast and if it destroyed CNN like we think that it did because of the popular podcast and what they can do and just how bad the CNN coverage was the other night. We'd be grateful for that. Vic Faust here, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house as well, making sure we look and sound as good as we possibly can. But these are the problems that you have when it comes to DEI. DEI has been brought in not to do anything positive. It's been to separate, isolate, ridicule, and then lift up one particular person over another. And it is interesting because when we had our guest in a couple weeks ago, what was his name again? Not Montgomery.
You talking about Langford Cunningham?
Yeah, Langford.
Yeah.
Langford was not all about DEI.
No, he wasn't at all.
And he's a man who grew up in the streets, African American. It is interesting. Roland Thompson chimes in on this situation as well. Because Roland is an African American man. He says, honestly, it's Bush's fault. Sounds weird, but that No Child Left Behind
100%
was the precursor to a lot of the school issues, Common Core, etc.
Yes.
Soon as that started, I immediately knew where it was going to lead and stopped elementary education. Interesting point, Roland. Appreciate you jumping in. And we do ask for people to jump in. Jay says, so most of the teachers are oppressors.
Well, and there's
another good point.
But there is a lot of truth to that. I was in education when that whole No Left Behind came down, and it happened quickly. They would take the children in reading groups that were in the high group and put them in the middle because that would make the kids that weren't as, quote, advanced, feel bad. And that really started to ruin the school districts.
Well, we've already known the only way that, and I feel bad for teachers. I know teachers.
I do too.
I know one who just retired
teachers.
And she couldn't be more thrilled to be out of public schools.
Yes.
Could not be more thrilled because they said the deterioration of the schools, which is the deterioration of our society, is getting worse and it is on hyperspeed.
Yes.
And it is changing by the day, by the week, by the month. It is going in the wrong direction. Now, that's not all schools, but in a concept, it is.
It is. It is. It's happening even in the best school districts. I have many teacher friends who love these kids and they're badasses and they're great. But they're telling me that there is a lot of problems because they do have a lot of illegals in there that are not speaking English. There is DEI, no parent support, no principal support. And so unless you have a kid that comes in that is just completely compliant, they're all struggling in school these days.
I'm told kids are not being held back as like they were before or held to accountability. I also saw a story yesterday on Fox where you have college students at an all-black college that reported their professor because he didn't pass them.
Oh, get out of here.
And he's like, are you kidding me? He's like, look at the work. And he presented the work to the superiors and they told him he needed to change the grades because there were too many of them saying that he was being too tough.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? He said, bullshit, I quit.
Yeah.
He's like, this is not why I got into teaching. And they can grow up and be dumb. They can grow up and be misinformed and feel as if they're entitled and feel like, oh, well, I'm the smartest thing. And then realize it the hard way someday.
Yeah. Yeah. And they will. And that's what they don't realize. You might be getting these kids to buy into all this critical race theory and this DEI and no child left behind, because that still goes on in schools. I mean, that hasn't gone away. But you're setting these children up for failure. But that's part of their plan because they want our country to fail. And who better to get than the children at such an impressionable age to come and ruin our country? It's tragic.
Trisha says, I love teaching, but could not deal with where it was going. A time I was thankful for. I was old and glad to be done. I was done because that's where you see it. And of course, we have the story, not teachers. I mean, even in the state of Missouri, it wasn't until recent, the lowest paid teachers in the country.
Correct.
Governor Parson took care of that. Thank God. But once again, when it comes to budgeting, we're not worried about school districts. We're not worried about education.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's pushing for the dollar. Everybody's trying to make money. Everybody's greedy. Things have become so damn expensive, which is why it all starts at the top. You have to have an economy that's going to work, and you have to have a love, a care. And guess what? It starts with parents. And that's why you've seen all the issues of other schools popping up, charter schools, private schools, you name it, because we stopped caring about the public schools.
Correct.
When everything's going well, it's human nature to just let it alone.
Mm-hmm.
It is. You have to be structured. We're like, hey, I know this is going good, but we still need to work on it. We need to make sure that it's still going to be good. Just like a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is going good, but let's work on it.
Yeah.
Let's try to be the best that we can be. Let's continue to do what we can. A lot of people jumping in. Viewer says, Tillman, a school in Kirkwood, that's in the St. Louis metropolitan area. It was good enough for the kids to not spell the words correctly if it was in a different class like geography, as long as they knew where everything was supposed to be.
Yeah, people don't care how you spell anymore. So much, you can just use your computer and you can do spell check and all that. They don't want you to do cursive anymore. They don't care if you have punctuation.
Derek Pratt, one of our fill-ins here. By the way, when are you guys shooting a show again? Do you know?
Derek
down in the loo.
Yeah, it's low down in the loo, and Derek is on top of that, and it's coming soon.
Okay, I wanted to remind everybody, give you guys a shout out for that. Derek's, and he also fills in on the show. Derek says students get an automatic 50%, even if they don't do an assignment.
Yeah, a lot of schools are doing that. Yes, even if you don't do it, the worst you can get is 50%, and a lot of schools these days. Or you can turn it in late
for being alive.
Yeah, just for showing up. If you just show up.
Oh.
It's like, come on, Vic. It's so hard these days. These kids just get up and they just show up. What more do you want from them? That's the mentality.
I'm sorry your kids can't read, but holding them back is damaging to their psyche and their personality and their feelings.
I find it very disturbing that they don't teach cursive anymore.
Yeah, they don't. In a lot of schools.
Constitution and a lot of,
Yep. I think that's
documents
part of
are
it
written
too.
in cursive.
I think that's part of it.
You know what?
Too.
I don't even know. I'm going to ask tonight. I don't even know if my sophomore in high school could read cursive. And he's very smart. He's second honors at a very, 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 very tough school.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he could read cursive.
Just put a copy, and I want you to film this. Like if you can, if you want or whatever, film him. Put a copy of the Constitution in front of him and tell him to read it.
And that is interesting that you said that. My 15-year-old does know how to read.
That's a good idea,
cursive.
Man.
But her school taught her that. I mean, she went to a Christian school and they still teach it there.
Mr. Peterball says extra credit to pass. So 140 percentage points are available. Everybody passes.
Yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm. It's very sad.
This is bumming me out.
But then when you go to college, look at, they've done this with kids in sports. They want their athlete to do good, so they pass them. But now when they go to college, that's why there's such a high dropout rate, because they can't pass the ACT. They can't pass, and they drop out, and they gave them a scholarship, and now they can't use it.
Yeah, Mary remembers years and years and years ago when there was a penmanship class. I even took one of those. Chris says, my daughter gets anxiety when she gets a B+ on a quiz, let alone getting a 50%. Good for you.
Yeah, my kid too.
But there will be people that will say, how dare you as a parent let her feel pressure to get a B+. She should be allowed to get whatever she feels comfortable getting.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, by the way, let me know those ratings. I think it was you that said it. You posted ratings earlier. If you can find that, repost them. I wanted to give the specific ratings from Vivek's podcast with the Timcast the other night at the same time during the debate with Haley and Santis and Trump's Townhall.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Joe. What were you going to say, bud?
I forgot, actually. I'm sorry.
It was probably really profound. It's because it was written in cursive and he can't read it.
Right.
Oh, my God, Shay, this drives me crazy. This happened to me last weekend. Shay says nobody in the fast food industry can even make change anymore.
No, they can't. They can't. And even when the computer, like even when the cashier thing comes up and says, okay, you should have, think about this, $20.78. They can't even figure out the 78 cents. And it's even done for them, but they're like, okay, so if it's a quarter and then a quarter and then they can't figure out the rest of it.
Well, if you go to McDonald's or Burger King, the change automatically comes out of a machine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the kids don't even have to count it anymore.
Hey, by the way, McDonald's is bringing back their double Big Mac if people are excited.
Well, that'll be good. You know why? Because then people won't be as thin.
I try to have a really good memory. I remember reading that yesterday this morning.
Well, that'll be
double
good.
Big Mac, baby. That's
double
exactly
poison burger
what we
coming
need.
right up.
You know what though? But from our food talk, McDonald's meat is one of the best fast food meats you can have. Now, I'm not saying that for their secret sauce or the bread.
Now, wait a minute. The
McDonald's double or the quarter.
Well, it's a quarter pounder. It's not just the regular hamburger.
So why would they use different meat for the quarter
it's just
pounder?
The quarter pounder.
It's
because
just the quarter pounder.
I think it's because there was a lot of claims that their
you never know where we're
meat,
going in this show.
that their actual meat has worms and shit in it. So
I didn't hear about the worms, but I'm not saying
that's
you're
why
wrong.
The double quarter. I'm telling you that
it's a good burger.
The guy that he says it's the healthiest meat that you can have.
The meat, but you got the
fast
bun
foods.
and you got everything else on it that's poison.
Correct. And all the rest of the hamburgers, like a regular hamburger, is just like.
Yeah, I don't mean to take us too far off, but I was like, oh, McDonald's double Big Mac. Thank you.
Are you going to get one as soon as
Joe
it comes
Biden?
out?
No.
Okay, just wondering. You got pretty excited over there about it.
I couldn't get my mouth around that damn thing. I mean, that's huge.
It'd be big.
I had it a long time ago, but
I had one.
Chris gave me some of the ratings when it came because Donald Trump had 70% higher ratings than the CNN kids table debate with Haley and DeSantis. So Chris says, Vic, the podcast, the Timcast with Vivek had 717,000 views per hour, kind of like one of our Cancel This shows.
There you go.
During the live. And that's without counting views after the fact. CNN averaged 541,000 views per hour with no real playback numbers. So Vivek even beat Haley and DeSantis at the same time on a podcast. Blew them out of the water. 717 to 541, same time. That's huge.
That is. That's awesome.
I mean, that's a wow factor, and that's that's also the power of podcast. Boom. Versus TV.
Mm-hmm.
Same time, over 150,000 more almost. Yeah. I mean, that's holy
big. That's
crap.
Huge. That's huge.
And that doesn't include all the streams. Fact, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh no, what are you talking about? It's Free for All Friday. So what are you trying to play, Joe?
I was just pulling it up just in case.
You're not going to gross me out. With
Go ahead and play it. Now you got to play it.
But what is it?
So a while back, I'd say about 12 years ago.
And thank you, Chris. I appreciate you giving me those stats from the Timcast.
About 12 years ago, I went through McDonald's drive-thru at 2 a.m. in the morning. And got a quarter pounder, as a matter of fact.
Was it the current quarter pounder meat?
I don't remember if they had the new meat yet or not.
A different. They use a different source, I think now.
Right, but no, that doesn't matter. What matters is my burger was raw. I went home and I was eating it in the dark watching TV, and I realized that there was a texture problem.
Oh,
and then I brought it back to him and I recorded it on their response.
Okay.
Do you have that?
And it went semi-viral. The video actually has 118K views.
You weren't high, were you?
Well, it doesn't matter.
At this time, I wasn't smoking weed, no.
Okay.
Do you have the video?
I do. It's
okay,
pulled up
play
there.
it. Play it. Here it comes. Oh, you even gave the address.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Hello. I want you to look at that sandwich.
Okay.
I mean, you can put rubber gloves on because I did eat off of it. I was being nice, you know.
It's a double quarter pounder.
Oh, it's a double quarter pounder, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
right.
God.
I didn't even realize it until I had eaten around the edges.
What is that?
Is there? I don't want.
Ew.
What would you like?
My money back. Okay.
What the hell is it?
I personally boycotted.
I know this is going to sound bad, but I'd
but-
like my money back for the entire order because I have no idea. I threw the rest of it away. The
We
chicken
don't have to
sandwich,
watch
I don't
the
know
whole
what
thing.
else
It's
was
like
not
5
good.
minutes.
Refund you for your double quarter pounder.
But
No.
that right there is what they gave me, and then they wouldn't. Then she refused to. They didn't even apologize. She refused to give me my money back. So I made this video.
That depends on the person too, and who's ever working at that point in time.
But here's the thing.
That's bad.
I went
That's
through at
gross.
2 a.m. in the morning. They were standing outside smoking.
Well, yeah.
And then they ran inside real quick. The cook just browned the meat.
Yeah.
And then put it on the burger, and they served it.
You had a bad night. That was a bad night.
How much of it that did you eat? Was it just one bite?
It was more than one bite. I went home. I was watching TV in the dark, So I'm just sitting there eating away, and then I noticed
That's why I asked if you were stoned.
there was a different texture to it. No, I was not stoned. Not
That is well. That's good that you took that video.
Oh, God help us.
You even put the address of where it is.
Well, at the end of the video, there's a picture of the store and everything, and
Really?
everybody. It was like the grand opening picture where they had all the employees.
Oh
standing
my
out.
gosh, that's awesome! You should have played.
Mary
played
reminds
to the
people,
end.
Channel 4
always look at your food before you eat it.
For sure.
Great advice.
Yeah, Channel 4 actually interviewed me for because of this at this time we had the Talk STL studio.
Wow.
And they interviewed me, and then they never played it because guess why? McDonald's was one of their sponsors.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
that happened.
that's
Oh,
right.
don't get me started.
Yeah. Oh
Right.
my gosh.
I was told to stay away from two massive organizations because of money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Vic, you can't bite the hand that feeds you.
Mhm.
But that's okay. We're going to give you a hamburger that's going to give you food poisoning, and worms are going to come out.
No,
And then not apologize for it or give you your money
Yeah, but
back.
that's
They
on
should
the
have
end
just
of it,
given
yeah.
your whole order back. And
Well,
not
she
just
she offered to give me.
Yeah,
my-
but Joe, these
give
are
me
these
more
are people
food.
at 2 a.m. They don't give a damn. They're working fast food. At that 10 years ago, they weren't making what
But
they're
that's
making
no
now.
excuse.
It's
at
not an
all.
excuse. Managers
And I
are usually
boycotted-
better to deal with.
I boycotted McDonald's for years after that. And then after I found out all the poison that's in our food, I stopped eating McDonald's altogether. So I won't even go back.
Look at your food.
Ugh.
Look at your food. Look at your food. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Food can cause a lot of problems. Yep. You're
food
exactly
can
right.
cause a lot of problems.
Which is what we talk about as well.
Yeah,
What fast food plate is open at 2 a.m. anymore?
None anymore. I
Yeah.
don't think. I don't
That
think
was a
ever
while
since
back.
COVID. none
Also,
of
a
it.
shout out for Culver's. Talking about their great hamburgers, their great meat. Somebody give a shout out for Culver's. I know a guy who owns some Culver's. He's probably happy
Culver's
to hear
has
that.
some really good hamburgers. They do.
Do you have OCD? Eating around the edges?
Yeah, that was definitely an OCD thing. Yeah.
Joe is the most OCD person I've ever been around with. I've never been around a germaphobe, really, ever.
Yeah, no, I'm not severe. I'm not like, but what's his name, Howie Mandel severe, but I'm definitely a germaphobe.
Waffle House open at 2 a.m. People,
That's true. They are.
and that's worldwide. There's literally Waffle Houses worldwide.
Yeah.
So
You know what we
can
did with
find one
Waffle
wherever
House?
and we have listeners all over the world. So maybe you'll find your Waffle House. At 2
My
a.m.
father-in-law loved Waffle Horse. Well, I can't even say it.
Waffle Horse.
Waffle Horse. Okay, he likes Waffle Horses at Waffle
Or
House
Swinghaven.
in Swinghaven. Oh, so we went down to Florida with him, and he had to stop at every Waffle House that he saw.
You're still having problems. Waffle.
I can't say Waffle House. If I can say Waffle House, then it'll.
Waffle.
Waffle. Say that. Say it
Can
really
you say
fast.
it? Just say Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Oh my God, you can't say it normal.
I can't say it. Waffle House. Waffle House. Annette says she loves Waffle House.
Yeah, how could you not?
That's right.
Yeah, this is Friday. Do you drink or are you drunk?
Neither. I haven't even had anything to drink all morning.
Oh my God.
Nothing. I probably should.
You sounded like the female Mitch McConnell just
I sure did.
Self some Waffle House. Some scrambled eggs. I like to put my fingers in the grits and just play around and put it in my mouth. Oh my God. I'm not going to talk about Donald Trump today. He's oh my God. That guy. Yeah, and he's still in office, which is sad.
Oh, Mitch McConnell. I want to have a discussion with Mitch McConnell.
Oh my gosh.
I want to tell him a thing or two. I might even take him to Waffle House. Might even invite him there.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, thanks. But this is a free for all Friday. We're serious for a while, kind of off the beaten path a little bit. Something else I want to talk about too. I love Pat McAfee. He is my new hero.
You do.
He is an ESPN host. We've talked about him a couple times this week because they had Aaron Rodgers on, who was getting shots back at Jimmy Kimmel, the late night comedian, about him not getting cupcaked, jabbed. So they had a feud going back and forth. ESPN, literally Pat McAfee called out his boss and said, we have forces behind the scenes trying to hurt our show because they're not a show that is going to be, quote, canceled, muzzled. They allowed Aaron Rodgers to speak as they did all year. And they were having some fun joking around. Jimmy Kimmel jokes with people. Aaron Rodgers joked back. Well, then Jimmy Kimmel put out a diatribe this last Monday night. So Aaron Rodgers responded. And then 2 days ago, Pat McAfee said, well, I'm glad that Aaron Rodgers is no longer going to be on the show. And I was like, he and Aaron they're best friends, man. This doesn't seem right. So I said that yesterday. I was like, I don't know, but it was his last show of the season anyway, allegedly, because this gets back. They called out this ESPN guy who got pissed at them because they were talking about how cupcakes did not work. All the masking did not work when it came to COVID. So everybody thought, oh, Aaron Rodgers was just canceled by ESPN. Nope. Guess who got the last laugh? Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee, because Aaron Rodgers went back on his show yesterday.
Love it.
This is literally Pat McAfee doing this.
Totally.
To ESPN.
Totally.
Unless they're all coordinated behind the scenes, but I don't think they are, because this guy, Norby Williamson, you're talking about his reputation. That he got called out by name on a show that has millions and millions and millions of followers and listeners and is the most popular show on ESPN. And Pat McAfee, who's their most popular host right now, said, you know what? Screw this. You're not going to go out and apologize in public for guests that I have on my show talking about Jimmy Kimmel after Kimmel ripped him. So what did they do? They put him back on the show yesterday.
That's great.
So I never used to, I could care less about Aaron Rodgers. He was a Packer, so I didn't really care, didn't like him, whatever. And because I'm a Lions fan, now I love the guy.
Yeah.
Because he's willing to stand up and say things.
Love it.
And now they're like, you know what? Screw you, ESPN. You're run by all these very left-leaning,
Disney lovers,
liberal Disney leaders who are pushing DEI down our throat, pushing BLM down our throat, pushing the communist of China through the NBA down our throat, not holding athletes accountable when they are only choosing their side of a political argument, but they want to talk and use the media for their politics, not sports. This is exactly what you deserve, because now the show became bigger than ESPN. And they were able to stick it back. But will ESPN do something today? I don't know. Would they fire Pat McAfee? Guess what? He'd become as big as Joe Rogan is.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what happened. And guess what? It all started with his podcast.
Yeah.
With podcast. The podcast was so big and so good and so popular. And he'd been doing it for years that ESPN said, wow, we need to put this guy on because we want to make money. And they've been making money. And guess what? They don't want to lose that money. and they've got nobody to put in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
So Pat McAfee, Aaron Rodgers get the last laugh, and I'm great about that.
That's awesome.
That's great from Aaron Rodgers, according to Eric. Robert said Aaron also thumbed his nose at the jabs. Yeah, he did, because he said, I'm not, quote, anti-vax like Novak Djokovic said. It's just we should have a choice. Don't force the shit down our throats. When I'm talking to my doctors, and most of these athletes outside the NBA, who have doctors and have enough money to have their own private doctors, they all said, don't do it. It's emergency. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So anyway, that was good to see them do that. Some schools throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area closing early today.
Yep.
That's interesting. Is it?
I think it's
not gonna. We're not gonna have a
get
downfall,
snow, but
we're not gonna have ice.
I don't blame them for doing that if it's ice. Did you ever sit in that traffic? It was like 3 or 4.
We're so weak as a society.
We are. I'm not saying we are, but I don't want to sit in ice either. So I will take that. If somebody says you can go home because ice is coming, you don't want me dead in a ditch.
No,
I can't drive good in ice.
Okay.
I will admit I am the female can drive good in snow, but in ice, I am a horrible driver. I will kill somebody.
Well, I tell you, I just looked out the window. It's 46 degrees and there's nothing but water on the road.
Oh, stop it. Okay. See, I can't see outside.
No,
so I thought stuff was coming down then.
No, there's nothing out there. Not a flake.
No,
It's
it would
all
have
water.
to get under 32 degrees. And I don't think it's supposed to until late. Like late or into tomorrow. Shay says such a puss move for schools.
Make them ice skate home. I agree. Make them ice skate home. Go up the hill in the snow for 5 miles.
I'm sure they do that in Norway or
I'm sure
something.
they do.
Iceland.
Not around here.
Antarctica.
Right?
Bah.
Oh my gosh.
Because there's a whole civilization that lives there.
Yeah,
right?
we do. We know that now. We know.
We'll have to have him back on again.
We are going to have him back.
Well, I forgot his name again. Michael's
somebody that he's actually around the Raleigh, Cuba area, and he knows all the stuff about Antarctica.
Is anybody else got anything going on? If not, we could close out this show.
Well, we have to say one thing because it's on our.
Did I forget?
We have to talk about the Texas man in Walmart.
My God! Yeah, how did I forget about that?
I don't know. We have to talk about the Texas man before we go.
Okay, this dude literally was confused for being a shoplifter. He was accused of being a shoplifter at Walmart. Okay. It's a bad day.
It's a bad day.
Is your life going to end? Were you embarrassed to the point where it hurt you or your family, your finances? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if somebody confused me that way, I'd be like, okay, listen, you guys are wrong. That's fine. Let's move on.
Let's move on. I would be like that too.
This guy is suing Walmart.
For a second time. You know that, right?
Well, you have to say this. What was the first time?
The first time was in 2021.
It was a different incident, I thought.
I thought it was all the same incident.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but I thought it was all the same incident, and he sued and he lost, and then he sued again. He's suing again now. And and he's not even really getting a lawyer from what I understand. He hand wrote the lawsuit paper to Walmart.
He wants free items for life from Walmart.
Yes. Yes, free items or $100 million.
Is this Walmart or Walmart Supercenter?
I don't know. I think
are they all super? I don't go to Walmart.
No, they're not all supercenters. No, and you could even go to a little neighborhood Walmart. Have you ever been to a neighborhood Walmart?
Yeah, I think that's the last one I went. Or you know what? The last one
they only have groceries.
Okay, I was in a Supercenter because I just don't live by Walmart right now.
Right.
At one point in my life, I did, but I had other choices.
Yeah.
I've just never been a big Walmart guy for whatever reason.
Well, you know what? There's such thing as Walmart anxiety. Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of that?
This guy has it now.
Yeah, he does.
Is he going to win?
No, he's not going to win. He's not going to win.
He's getting a lot of he's not a politician, but he's getting a lot of play. Free items. I think he's going to get something.
I bet he gets free items. I don't think he's going to get $100 million. He's asking for $100 million or free stuff for life. So if I was him, I would give him Tide Pods because he's probably that
Tide Pods.
Give him Tide Pods for life and call it a day. And then he can eat them and then he can whatever.
All right.
He's a Tide Pod eater. I'm sure of it. So that's what Walmart should give him. That's it.
Collinsville Walmart loaded with illegals.
Oh, I know.
That's in the St. Louis metropolitan area. Tracy says, if I feel ugly, I go to Walmart and it all changes.
And then you feel good about yourself.
Yes, I'm going to hell, she said.
I love that, Tracy. That's true. That's the one place you can go and it doesn't matter how you look. And you're going to see a shoplifting incident every time you go.
So wait a second. If you walk into Walmart, let's say I'm like, I've got a business meeting. I have a sports coat on.
You are so out of place, dude. If you go
and I walk in, I'm out of place at Walmart?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Most people have jammies in their butt hanging out in the summer.
I used to go to Walmart when I went to Walmart. I don't even go there anymore. But when I went to Walmart, I used to go and I would play Count the Teeth.
Yes, count the teeth.
Oh, yeah. That's mean. That's not you, Joe.
Oh, no. That was...
Yeah, it is.
You don't know the Walmart I was going to.
And it depends on the Walmart.
Kevin says every Walmart is loaded with illegals
He's
now.
right. Kevin
and is that on a flyer that they get when they come in across the border?
It makes you wonder.
Probably.
It makes you
like
wonder.
Walmart did advertising with the government?
Doesn't it make you think
Probably
that?
why Walmart isn't open 24
or
hours.
Or do they
anymore.
have as one of the free cards with money on it?
Probably.
With a Walmart.
Without a doubt.
That's a good point. Well, think about it. When everyone else was shutting down, Walmart didn't have to shut down. They weren't even a huge massacre place like some other places were. Come on into Walmart where your illegals have no teeth.
I've heard about this. Greg says, Google Walmartians.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody told me recently they were watching like a Walmart app or something where you can watch people at Walmart.
I don't know about a Walmart app. You can watch people.
That it was some show
of videos.
or video.
Plenty of videos.
That the app had videos.
Yeah.
Oh, Sasha says it's a real show.
I did not know that.
Makes you wonder, Vic. I don't know exactly what you were talking about that. We need to bring back the people you see at Walmart photo page back then. Joe, I bet it's Troy, Missouri, where you go.
I don't know. Troy's
I mean, I don't want to. I mean, I've lived out there for a while, but I don't want to.
Derek, you're busted, dude. Derek just said I'm a Target kind of guy. Target,
of course,
but Target and Walmart are not comparables, are they?
Well, Target, you can say Target. I'm going into Target.
I can't even tell you the last time I went into Target.
I used to go all the time because I liked it better than Walmart too. But I've kind of gotten out of the habit when you would have to go in with your kids and they had all that Pride stuff up front.
Dear
and
God help us.
And it was fine if you want to do it as an adult, but they put it on the kids' clothes and we did a whole show about that. So I'm not going to repeat that. But so I don't know. So where the hell do you go shopping now?
What the hell is
Amazon?
Where's Boscov's?
Boscov.
I'm a Boscov's person. BOSCOV. What state?
I don't know what that is.
It must be a different state.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. So Donna, tell us what that is. It's not nationwide. It's in about 5 states. So Donna, what is it?
And Heather says
like
she thinks it's the card. She thinks it's the card, the free card.
I bet it is too. Greg misses Grandpa Pigeons. I liked Grandpa Pigeons too.
Was that nationwide?
I don't know. I know there was a Grandpa Pigeon in the Midwest all over St. Louis.
That's like an Orscheln's now.
I'm going to check out the Facebook page. This is for Walmart. This is a free-for-all Friday, which is how we were kind of getting onto those subjects.
Yes, free-for-all.
She says it just kind of sucks. There's no more good places to shop in
There
person
really isn't.
anymore.
There isn't.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There might be something to that.
I don't know. Somebody, even Eric is saying that he likes Grandpa Pigeons. Please bring him back. But my favorite is what Jeannie said is Venture. Did you ever go to Venture?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was my fave of all time.
That's where I bought my first albums.
Really?
Lionel Richie. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson.
Life has never been as good since Venture left.
Yeah. I think I had a Kiss album.
Yeah, Kiss. I got a Kiss album from there too.
I used to work at the Venture warehouse out in O'Fallon.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So you stocked the stores?
Well, no, it was the warehouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who then stocked the stores?
Right.
Mary, we'll get into this next week. How about a store where everything is made in America?
Yes.
So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guys, we're going to go ahead and close out the show. It is Friday. We appreciate you joining us today. Great week, great shows. You guys make the show. Thanks for all your interaction with everything that we do here. We'll be here. We'll continue to do this Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, canceltheshow.com. Have a great weekend. Go Lions. For all of our Chiefs, I'll say go Chiefs. Have fun if you're going out to the 0-degree temperature. And just thanks for all of your support. Thanks for donations if you give them. And thanks for any ideas on advertisers and opportunities of that nature. So we say goodbye today on this Friday for Pro Joe and Lizzie Sparks. I'm Vic Faust. Yeah. God bless, as Greg said. God bless.
God bless you guys. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.